Is this, what we're about to see, a deadly force incident? Could you or should you use deadly force in this situation? Here to answer those questions, top criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve. Tom, always great to have you here. Before we get into this really cool video, I want to let you know that we have a gun giveaway going on right now. You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. So click in the link in the description down below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. All right, I'm going to hit play on this video and you're going to just be astonished. Here we go. Earl, Grandpa, with a baton.
Aren't you in enough trouble?
No.
You're gonna be.
Why?
You're gonna be in a hospital if you don't get out of here.
No, you can't bring a weapon out on me.
Yes, I can, because I have one.
Okay.
Good justification.
Hey, I'll get the Get!
So, there we go. At that point, the aggressor, I'm calling the guy outside with a baton, and I'm actually surprised the baton broke the window. I've seen people strike windows with batons and not have it break. Guy's still standing out there telling him to get away. Has said he's going to put him in the hospital. Looks like he's got every right to be there. Looks like a public street. So, what would you do?
Well, so for starters, let's quickly review deadly force law. So in order to use deadly force, you have to be in reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm. Yep. Now, different states will have slightly different permutations, but that's the gist to it. You may be in a state with a duty to retreat, in which case that kind of speaks for itself. If you're in a state with castle doctrine that extends to your automobile, or if you're in a state that has stand your ground, or both, that may tilt the scales in another direction here. But the bottom line is this. All right, so to your point, someone just said, I'm going to put you in the hospital. They smash your window, which clearly shows, yes, they're capable of doing violence.
They have a weapon.
They have a weapon. And, he doesn't seem exactly like the most level-headed guy. Yeah. Controlling for everything else. In other words, again, to your point of you're lawfully able to be there. It's not like he's selling drugs or he's shooting, dogs or whatever. I don't know, right? Then... yeah, I think there's going to be an argument for the fact that you are now in fear and you can use deadly force. Now, the reasonableness of that, however, is going to be tempered by the fact of if I'm the prosecutor, and as a former state prosecutor, I'm just going to put on my prosecutor hat for a moment here. I'm going to say, well, all right, if you shoot him at that point, at the end of this video, that wasn't reasonable, or at least the prosecutor could make this argument. It wasn't reasonable because you could have put your car in drive and pull away. Yep. And yeah, it may not have been fair or just, and that guy would have been prosecuted for criminal damage to property or whatever the case might be. Yeah. But the point is that you shooting him was not reasonable because you had another alternative. If you've got castle doctrine, stand your ground, maybe the prosecutor, depending upon your state law, isn't able to make it to that point in the analysis. It's simply look, there's a presumption, and now you're going to have to come back over the top, Mr. Prosecutor or Mrs. Prosecutor, by showing that it's beyond a reasonable doubt that I was not protected by these laws. So I think that if you're in a stand your ground state or a castle doctrine state, and assuming that you're acting under color, use the legal term there, you're acting under color, I know, right? You're acting under color of those laws, that's going to make it, I think, pretty tough for the prosecutor. If there is no stand your ground, if there is no duty to retreat, if there are no applicable castle doctrine laws here, I think that you definitely have an argument, and I think that that can be a strong argument. But to give the prosecutor his or her due, they may have an argument back at you.
Yeah, and I would like to see maybe even 20 or 30 seconds more of this video. At this point, I'm still in decision-making process. Do I want to get out of there? What's the reason I was being there? That opening statement, "Aren't you in enough trouble?" made me wonder, kind of what the dynamic is between these two and what's going on there. But at that point, that statement, if there's a TRO, a temporary restraining order in place or something like that, you don't go out and break the window. You call the police and you have the guy escorted away. If the guy outside the car decides now he's going to reach in and he's going to continue this assault, I think I'm much more apt to get my gun into action and stop that threat. At this point, he breaks the window and he takes a step back and he just wants to insult you and yell and holler a little bit more. you've got all this on video. I mean, it's a pretty clear.
You got him
case
on a
of
crime
criminal-
right now.
Yeah, criminal damage to property.
Without some sort of context that changes this, I mean, we just watched the guy on camera commit a crime.
Yeah.
Is what happened here.
Yeah.
And again, there is context, and there are scenarios where that would change, right? If he's trespassing on his property, or if he's made death threats, or if I mean, there. Without going too far down that rabbit hole, there are facts that could change that. But independent of those facts, you've now got him on a misdemeanor. At least in most states, this would probably be a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And so let's. I want to throw one more fact in here, and then we'll maybe react to that. So, all right. So he smashes your window. We're at the end of this this video now, and I, as the driver, and presuming I'm alone in the car for a moment, and I, as the driver, just pull out my handgun. I don't point it at him, and I just put it on the center console or something like that, as an obvious demonstration of I'm capable of defending myself, right? Now we've got a situation that's a little reminiscent of Rittenhouse, of we've got someone who's armed, and now if I attack that person, whether it's in an effort to disarm or whatever, from the tactical end, do you see that really changing what the driver may or may not be able to do if now the guy on camera leans back and takes another swing with the baton?
Yeah, and again, where I'm sitting, as I look at this, at this point right here where the video stops, he broke the window and he's still flapping his jaw and he's still yelling. Even if you pull out the gun and brandish it, no, point it at him, because that causes more problems and more discussion points. Pull out the gun and maybe give that verbal challenge. Get out of here. Don't bother me. Don't attack me anymore. I will defend myself. Then he comes forward. You have really buttressed your case, and you're like, okay, now this guy has, no regard for the fact that you want to defend yourself, and he is intent on doing harm. This is one of those cases where we're gonna, I can hear, as you often say, the keyboard's lighting up. People are saying, "Yeah, but what if? Yeah, but what if?" There's a million what ifs for this. The key one right now is, do you want to shoot a person and deal with all of that crap after you shoot him for this broken window? Because that's what it is right now. It's a broken window. Maybe a piece of glass hit you and cut you or something like that, and that might even change how you as a prosecutor would charge the guy who broke the window.
Right.
But at this point, I don't think I'm going to shoot the guy just yet.
If you do, understanding that in certain states, maybe you do have that power, right? And in many states, you'll at least at a minimum have an argument, perhaps even a strong argument for that. But if you've got enough time to draw a firearm from a holster, you also have enough time to put your car in drive. And to be clear, I'm not suggesting that you have to flee. I'm not a proponent of a duty to flee. I'm a proponent of live to fight, live to see another day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm a proponent of. And I've seen the cost. People don't understand that you going to court, even if you win, every single charge gets dropped before trial, or if you get not guilty across the board at jury trial. What people don't understand is there is a huge transaction cost of going through that process, both financially, emotionally, reputationally, you name it.
Yeah. How much BS do you want to put up with?
Right. So my suggestion is, look, you can arguably, and this is a bastardization of the phrase, but you can win the battle here. Let's say, and this is Castle Doctrine, you pull out your gun and you shoot him.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not convinced at all, remotely, that you are winning the war, because at the end of the day, what happens with this guy's life, and again, I don't know anything about this backstory. Just watch this video for the first time right now, right? I'm focused on myself. I'm not focused on whatever this guy's doing, right? And at the end of the day, 5 years from now, I probably would have been so much better throwing the car in drive, driving off, call 911, filing a report, letting this guy catch his misdemeanor charge and maybe throwing him on probation. It's going to owe me some restitution. To your point, if I got nicked and I need stitches, maybe we've got a low-level felony battery, depending upon state laws and so forth. That is me winning, in my view, both the battle and the war at that point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I love the point that what you made right there was everyone is focused on the guy with the baton breaking the window. It's not about him.
Right.
It's about what happens to you after that. And right now you've just got a broken window, maybe a bruised ego, whatever it is, and you don't have to flee. Drive 20 feet forward. Make him come back again. If he continues to do that, then you get a stronger case. But if there's not a real desperate need to trade shots or fire at this guy, I'm going to say don't shoot at this guy. There's another way.
And maybe you don't like your car and he's doing you a favor. I mean, I don't know, right? Maybe you've got it insured with replacement value. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, obviously making light of this fact. But at the end of the day, there's a hidden cost of going to court in the seat of really either the plaintiff or the defendant, but especially the defendant in a criminal action. And, own the largest criminal defense firm in the state of Wisconsin, former state prosecutor. I've seen a lot of people go through this process, right? Thankfully, we've seen a lot of people triumph at the end of it. None of them had an idea as to what that cost would be and how high it would be.
Yeah.
Even if they were in the total financial position to pay for everything without blinking an eye, which frankly isn't many people, because we're talking for felony charges, you shoot someone, I mean, we might be in the six figures depending upon how everything shakes out, right? But even, let's just assume, you know what, you won the lottery the day before, finances aren't an issue. There's just such a toll. Every single person tells me at the end of the case, I wish I could have done this differently. I wish I could go back in time. Doesn't matter that I won. I wish I could go back in time. This wasn't worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for your insight, Tom. Always great to have you talk with us about stuff like this. Folks, thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. And I will remind you once again, we have that gun giveaway going on. It ends really soon. So all you have to do is click the link below and reveal which brand new gun you could win. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. If you like videos like this, please share them everywhere. Like the video, comment on the video, hit that notification bell. We'll let you know every time we come out with something new. Stay safe.